Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Matt. I recorded 10 minutes of a thing and then got into a rhetorical loop that I couldn't spin myself out of. So we're trying it with round two. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope last week actually was good for you generally. It's the middle of the summer and it's kind of hazy, kind of gray outside a little bit here in Fort Mac. Seems to be kind of the trend lately. I'm sitting here as somebody who continues to be unemployed in Fort Mac, and I'm doing everything I can, right? So this is sort of the unemployed man's report. Every week, you get to check in with EI if you want to keep your EI, which sensible people will, and you account for your activities over a weekly period. You put in your report, and then you get to continue receiving your benefits. Pretty good system. I'm grateful for it because it's paying my rent right now. So thanks to my former self for having a job that paid into the thing that I get to now get back out of it a bit. Hooray for the social contract in Canada, as far as it goes. Anywho, I am here in Fort Mac, and I go through these surges where it's like, okay, I've applied for 25 jobs within 2 days within my relative professional area. The lease on my apartment is coming up to its end at the end of September. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be stepping out earlier than that. I've had some conversations with my landlord, and what I've determined is there's not much point in me being here past Labor Day if I can help it. I'm really hoping that having a job to move to well before that happens. But my landlord is now aware that I've been laid off from Keanu College and that I will not be keeping my lease beyond the natural end of it at the end of September at minimum. And we've discussed, the potential for ending things from a lease standpoint earlier than that. So it's nice to kind of be on the same page with people as far as this stuff goes. And so again, right? What does an unemployed person do? Right? You apply for everything that you're sort of qualified for. There's not much point here in me applying for local area kind of jobs that would fall out of my professional sector, right? So anything that's not directly affiliated with training or learning or development in some way is not something that would keep me in Fort McMurray. That being said, I've really come to appreciate Fort McMurray since I've been here. Um, Everything that you may see from me in terms of being sort of critical of a cultural standpoint, critical of Trump culture, critical of, over conservative kind of culture, that's part of my brand, man. I mean, that's just part of who I am. That doesn't stem from anything to do with Alberta, okay? I like it here. I really like it here. The people here are super nice. It's international, it's vibrant. You do get a sense that the town, having been burned down a number of years back, it weighs on people. It weighs on the city. They lost a lot of population from that. There have also been floods here. There have been the same kind of, what do you call it, world level economic issues that are challenging everybody right now. So, again, when I'm talking about, escape from Fort Mac, it's not because Fort Mac is a bad place. It's just my cultural context, embedded as it is, does not have me as a practical entity within it for much longer because I want to be a practical entity within my thing. People who are unemployed become emotionally, erratic sometimes. And sometimes that translates into behavior, right? I got a documented noise complaint within my apartment. It was actually an aggregated complaint, if you can believe that. It was something where there were multiple incidents of noise issue that did not get communicated to me directly whatsoever, right? There was nothing under the door. There wasn't any like knock. There wasn't anything in my mailbox. I've been around. I've been pretty, I'm not, I'm just like, all you got to do is knock on the door and say, hey, it's kind of loud, or hey, it's the middle of the night, yo. None of that. And so I get this aggregated noise complaint, and it's like, man, I don't want to trouble anybody. So I put my wireless speaker away. I'm never going to listen to music again on my wireless speaker, right? There was like he moves furniture around in the middle of the night. Well, it's like, no, I don't. What I've been doing is using these dumbbells, right? I am a muscular dude. I have like a jail inmate's body somewhat because of just exercising in my apartment with just dumbbells, right? So it's like, okay, sorry, yo, no more exercising in the middle of the night. So I actually put my dumbbells just sort of in a public area where somebody could take them, and they did within 20 minutes. Um, I got no reason to want to agitate anyone. I am not like a troublesome human being. I'm somebody who is financially insecure at the moment, and I'm working on that. These pensionable assets that I have in like four different vehicles are going to be consolidated down into one. And as soon as I can, I'm getting the full cash value out of that. I'm just, and that's going to coincide with me then being able to pay my taxes for last year, right? Because again, paying taxes when you're financially insecure, it's just okay, maybe I'll just not initiate that process until I actually have the resources to deal with it. Um, I don't know. I mean, it just becomes a level where you sort of you want to cover your liability to the full extent that you can. And so for me, there's no benefit. There's no tangible benefit to remaining in Fort McMurray. Nice though it is. Incredible nature, awesome people, right? Hands down. It's been super convenient to live here. I have nothing but positive to say about my time as a teacher, as an educator at Keano. Again, I'm like, I feel like it's a drag that I got laid off, but I think anybody who gets laid off from a job that they like without any notice does, you know, would rather have kept their job, right? I don't think there's anything controversial about that. I'm not trying to slag them. I'm not trying to put them down. I think they're great. I had an awesome time there. And so then, right, just in terms of like, how do you carry yourself? Well, for me, like I said, I'm pretty invested right now, just strictly in my job search and sort of keeping a minimum of resources towards just kind of basic personal care and necessity, in as much as an EI thing even allows for. And I'm definitely moving things forward so that I'll be in the best position that I can to start a new job immediately, assuming that becomes available. And so for me, like remote based work starting tomorrow is like, that would be like, yes, that is something I would like to have, right? Just professional something, curriculum design, e learning, instructional development, whatever. Um, that all sounds great to me, right? And so you got to put out the applications, you got to wait for them. Now, in terms of other cultural stuff, I've got some really narratives. I've got some narratives developed to the point that I'm very happy with them. I just feel like you could crack those open and just, have some fun, turn them from things that are bullet points into paragraphs very easily. And so I've sort of reached out to some other parties about possibly collaborating on some fiction kind of stuff, and I'm waiting to hear back. So far, the response has been tentatively positive. There may potentially be some more music podcasts, sort of a limited run history of Canadian music sort of thing. But again, it depends on somebody else being able to commit to it, right? So I don't want to say more about it than that. But assuming it's something that ends up happening, I feel like it could be really cool. Um, the interview series, the Writers on Writing interview series, is continuing along. Um, I'm looking to hopefully get 4 or 5 more interviews anyway, at least three. Hopefully, again, I think 5 more would be like the ideal number. So I have some outreach to do there. But again, it's all sort of predicated around, well, I'm hoping that by August I'll have some kind of job that I can speak to. So I sort of hold off on making things that will ultimately end up in scheduling something just because I don't want to put myself or somebody else in a situation and then be like, yeah, I got a job thing. Sorry. Right. Anyway, this is all to say that the post contained herein is somewhat of a roundup, I suppose, an unemployed man's weekend entertainment, if you can fathom such a thing. And this seems like as good a place to put a pin on it as any. There's nothing that's really jumping out at me, in terms of TV or books or music or anything. I really am sort of orienting myself on a day to day level to keeping my body and mind together, keeping my mind straight, such that I can be in a good situation to move forward on paid employment at the earliest opportunity possible. That's like where my entire limited focus is even right now. So I hope you are enjoying the Substack, such as it is. Pretty low key. We're trying to keep it on the what do you call it? Recreational. Unless you want to send me a lot of money. If anybody wants to just send me a lot of money, there is in post advertising for that. So can't say I didn't give you the opportunity. Anywho, hope you all enjoy your weekend. And thanks so much for checking this stuff out for any reason whatsoever. Bye for now.